G'day everybody, my name is Samuel Hagen and I'll be discussing loops in Python. Now, I'll be discussing while loops and for loops. Now, a while loop is basically a loop where the number of repetitions isn't necessarily predetermined, and it's usually accompanied by a Boolean statement, which is just a statement where a condition is either true or false. Now, I've got a if statement here and a while statement, and the reason why I've got an if statement here is because I believe that a while statement is basically an if statement that can be repeated. So I'll show you what I mean. So as you can see, the output is hello and goodbye, and the hello comes from the if statement, specifically from this section where it says if Boolean is true, print hello, and Boolean is false. And here we've got the exact same thing. If Boolean is true, print goodbye, Boolean false. And the only difference is this cannot be repeated. If you want to repeat this again, you'd have to copy and paste this. While if you wanted to repeat this, it's a while loop, so it can be repeated. You can just add additional values to it. And I've got an example here of what I mean when I say adding additional values to it. So here, I've predetermined the amount of times that the while loop will occur by setting a certain variable, that is 0. And I've stated the maximum value as 5. And I'll show you what happens when I run this program. So you get 5 outputs, which means the while loop is repeating 5 times. And each time it's changing that first variable from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 5. And we can see that it's happening because the output is basically the value of the variable there. Now, a for loop is basically a loop where the number of repetitions is predetermined. So the example here, I get thank you twice. So what I've said is for a number in range between 1 and 3, print a variable. So I've said the predetermined thing is, I've said for 2 times, for 1 and 2, print the variable. So it's just gone through that printing cycle twice. Now the for loop can also be based on a predetermined variable. So I've set a variable here that's a list, 1, 2, and 3. Those are the entries within the list. So there's 3 entries. So if I were to run this, we'd end up with 3 entries, 1, 2, and 3. So what's happened is for n in list, so for the entries within the list, print n, print entry within list. So it's gone through, it's repeated 3 times, and each time it's printed a different entry. So in conclusion, the difference between a while loop and a for loop generally is that a for loop is typically predetermined. The conditions for the repetitions is predetermined, while in a while loop, it doesn't necessarily have to be predetermined, and generally it is not predetermined.